I thought I'd talk about this because it's come across my radar I don't know how many times, and everybody that knows me knows that I've been a professional commercial driver for years. I was a teenager once. I did dumb things. Dumb. But I'm going to say something. It was different. I remember one time I had an AMC Matador, which is not exactly considered the cool car back in the day. And I was taking my girlfriend home after school. My friend had a Chevy pickup, was trying to race me, got in the oncoming lane and was side by side next to me. And I got up to like 80 miles an hour, and I was not trying to drag. I was trying to get away from it. We were out on the highway. But I remember thinking that day, you know what? This isn't good. This isn't cool. And I remember when I was in my 20s, you went up and down Gurley Street in Prescott, Arizona. You want to talk about a bunch of boobs. You want to talk about a bunch of losers. And not just there, but right here where I'm at in Dirty South. That's what they call it. The guys and the geeks and the losers and the people that don't have anything better to do with gas at $3-something a gallon, but to blow it out of their butt cheeks, tear up and down one of the main thoroughfares downtown. And they drive stupid, endangering. Let's race to the next red light, block after block. Slam on the brakes, playing their shitty music, thinking that everybody's standing there on the sidewalk going, oh, you're worthy. Now you got these pieces of shit, teen guys, going in all throughout America now, taking over neighborhoods, drag racing, street racing, all of them videoing it with their phone, bunch of losers. And people are getting killed. People are getting hurt. People are getting fucked up. And let me say something about you teens driving. I don't give a fuck what you have to say about me, my looks, nothing. I don't give a fuck because you don't give a fuck about anybody's safety or their life. And you get in these cars. I don't know how you got these cars. It just amazes me. I got an old pickup truck. I can't afford these cars you guys are ripping up and tearing up. I work for a living. I don't know who spoiled your sorry ass, but the way you're driving, it's clear you grew up in must have been upper middle class families and you just spoiled brats. But when you hit somebody, that ought to be attempted murder. And you ought to be thrown into prison and lose your driving privileges for life. I don't know what is wrong with this country that we're not punishing this shit. But Austin, Texas, all over the country. And you see this where nighttime, all these little teen geeks that think they're cool, cell phoning it. And two cars drag going down a roadway, running a red light. And somebody who has the green has no idea they're coming because they're going so fast and spins their car around. Or take these jokers that buy the Hellcats and stuff, and they don't know how to control them, and they hit a phone pole and split the damn thing in half. I got a message for you. You should all be shot, every one of you. And I'm not going to be nice. I'm not one of these YouTube artists that gets millions of views, and everybody's going to go, you know, I'm polished. There needs to be consequences because you are a danger. What if some mother's coming home from a school event with her children and you hit her and kill her children? There's no punishment worthy of you, short of death. And I'm getting tired of these mayors and police departments and whatever, that they cannot get this problem stopped. It seems to be the mood of the nation. Obviously, it has a lot to do with this shitty Democrat administration, which defund the police, allow this, tolerate this. We got crack cocaine in the White House. We got tax evasion. We got millions and billions of dollars made in other countries, dirty money. And now we have politicians saying that the whistleblowers should be prosecuted. You know, AOC and all those nut jobs that people voted. A bartender, a fucking bartender in New York is in politics, making $175,000 a year, telling us we need to get rid of gas-powered vehicles. That's rich. The difference between me in the 1980s and these kids today, they don't give a fuck about nobody. We did. We did dumb things, but there was something inside of us that says, no, we don't cross that line over here. I learned to become a good driver after I got a commercial driver's license, not before. I did California stops. I'd get on the highway and go 80 miles an hour in my pickup on the highway. That was wrong. I broke the speed limit. And I'm going to say something to you lousy adults out there that ignore the speed limit. You are the problem. You got your damn kids and your minivans, moms. I left church the other day, and I watched a couple just blaze past me. Black couple, older than me. We all go to the same church. Speed limit's 45. They're going to do 65. You know, parents, what you doing? All this here, is lost on your children. What they're looking at is your modeling. And if you think it's okay to go 5, 10, 15 over, the kids think, oh, fuck that. We're going to go 60 over. They quantify. Kids quantify your dysfunction and build on it. That's a fact. And I'm going to tell you, at 57 years old, I go the speed limit in my damn pickup. I drove school buses up until last year, and I got out of it. The kids are just getting where this region where I live, the school districts aren't doing shit about the kids and their behavior. The kids are getting worse. And our society is coddling this. Did you see all those teenagers running around Chicago tearing up stuff? Ridiculous. I have no patience, I have no tolerance, and I have no understanding, and I don't need to, for these son of a bitch teenage boys that get out there with all their testosterone, all their immaturity, then they got these nice cars, and they're going to terrorize urban America and drive like this and intimidate the shit out of everybody. There's something wrong with a country that allows that. And I don't care what these teens think of me. I don't care. Their opinion is not valid. I don't care if they're 50 billion strong. When kids act like that, somebody didn't get out the whip and paddle their butts. Something's missing. And somebody has got to step up to the plate and start busting the shit. And I got a couple suggestions. Impound and crush the fucking car. Or impound the car. Police department can sell it. The money goes back into the city. These kids that are hitting people, actually, these kids that are driving like this is what angers me about the Democrats. They're all worried about gun control. There's a bunch of honest people that don't do anything wrong with a gun. They want to take those AK-47s and AR-15s away from you. What they need to do is take away the cars from teens. You get caught doing that, you lose the car. Oh, no, you still got to make the payments. Fuck your mom and dad. We don't want to hear about their whining and menstruating. You do that in your car, you or your family is responsible for the car payments. And the police has the right to sell it. They'll retitle it. If they don't start doing consequences, this shit's going to get worse. And you know, the only time this crap's going to stop is when a politician's daughter gets killed. They don't care if it's me. They don't care if it's my son. They don't care if it's anybody else. And things are getting to the point in this country where this country's government is so corrupt, it's going to force Americans to take the law into their own hands. And I promise you this, you teenage sons of bitches, you kill some man's wife or you kill some man's daughter out there, he may just come after you with an AR-15 or his Super Duty and say, all right, you fuckers, let's go. You have no business on America's streets driving like that. These high-powered cars, you're a fool and you're an idiot. I don't give a shit if you don't like me. These teens need to be busted. The parents of these teens need to be slapped or something. I understand not all parents are responsible for their kids' actions. But if you're buying them a car like that, shame on you. Make those kids work for every penny of it. Make them learn to appreciate the value of hard work. You want to race? You want to think you're something? Then go to the track and do it right. You're not a badass. You're an ass. Getting on public streets where John Q. Public has to use those streets. And you're so octaned up on your adrenaline, thinking you're cool in front of your little stupid friends, and you're killing people, fucking up their cars, and fucking up yours. I don't care about yours. I hope it flips 900 times, and I hope you turn into a spaghetti factory on the pavement. That'd be beautiful end to foolish behavior. People don't like the way I talk. They don't like it. You listen to YouTube artists and, oh, this is a tragedy. No, the only tragedy was the guy minding his own business who had a green light got hit by the motherfuckers in the cars. That's the tragedy. I don't care if some asshole teens, I mean, if you're not smart enough to figure out you need to obey the laws. Speed limit's 30 and you're doing 110 and you blaze through a red, I don't give a shit about you. I don't care if you're splattered on the pavement. I don't fucking care. Because you don't care the minute you make the decision to push that pedal and do that. And I tell you what, I'm getting angry at this crap in America. Is anybody else getting angry at this? Is anybody getting frustrated at this? Because this stuff needs to stop. This corrupt Democrat administration needs to be put in chains forever. They need to ban them from running for office. Ridiculous. And the whole mood of the country now is how much lawlessness can we get away with? But these damn kids? Wow. Something needs to be done. And this is the problem of our society. It goes on and on and on. And the officials and the authorities. What if I was coming home from work one night and these bozos hit me and comatose me for the rest of my life? Is anybody going to pay for my treatments? Anybody going to pay for my care? Nope. They need to have laws prohibiting people like that from ever operating a motor vehicle. Ever. My insurance rates go up on my truck for liability because of all the fools out there that refuse to follow the rules. And I'm tired of living in a country where Americans justify, rationalize, and excuse breaking the law behind the wheel. You are a loaded fucking gun when you do that. I'm not worried about some guy with an AK-47 or AR-15. I've lived 57 years and I never ran into one pointed at me. But guess what? Every day I get in my truck, there's loaded weapons pointed at me. Every day. Don't pay attention. Distracted driving. Fucking with their cell phone. Don't use their blinkers. Don't use proper following distance. Don't use proper come back in front of me distance, almost clipping my front bumper type things. Speeding. The older I get, I'm convinced America has lost its mind. And it needs to stop. No teen should have a high-powered vehicle. They should give them a damn Prius. They need to do something. And I'm not sorry for what I say. I don't need to be. People that do reckless behavior like that at the expense of other people and their lives. And do you think those teens that crashed into that guy even give a shit that they did that? Do you think that they felt bad for that? I bet you they didn't give a shit about that. They were more worried about their cars and the tickets that I'm sure came too. Dumbasses, all. And you jackasses that think you're cool videoing this, showing it all your friends, you ought to be thrown in the courtroom too, all of you. You know, it used to be, my dad told me a story. He was walking home from school back in the 40s. And the kids had unscrewed the plug on a fire hydrant. The water wasn't on, but they unscrew the plug and they roll it down the street. A cop saw them. My dad did not pull that plug off and roll it, but the buddies he was with did. That cop picked them all up in the car, took them down to the station, called all their mothers. And my grandmother told me that story years ago. She said, no, your son didn't do it, but he was hanging out with him and it's guilt by association. Look at where we've come today. Criminals yelling and screaming about their rights. These teens screaming about their rights. What about my right to safety, you piece of shit? You got a nicer car than me and you can't even follow the damn rules and you're going to get on a public street and endanger my life? Where's my rights, you piece of shit? Where are they? That's what bothers me. That's what bothers me. Is your conscience, your mind is not properly working. Putting you in a car is more dangerous than some dude running around with an AK-47. Don't you think? You ought to be given a tricycle with one of the little bells and the little tassels that hang down. And when you learn to operate that properly, then maybe we can go up to a go-kart. When I drove school bus, I worked with teens. I've worked with youth. I understand the stages of development or a lack of development per age group. But let me say something to all of you. I love kids. And I had a student. This is really a hard story because this really got to me. I went to a little church in Minnesota. And I love my church. I love my pastor. I had quite a few parents of children that rode the various buses I drove up in that area of town. And there was a family. They were kind to me, but they had some boys, and one of the boys was an ass, rude, make fun of the lady doing the special music at church. I mean, the kid just didn't have any, like, this is church. You don't do that in here. He rode my bus. He thought he was too cool to say hi to me. He wasn't popular at school. I'd say, hey. The kid decided to drive his car one day. I was driving down the street with a high school group of kids, and my students got off, started crossing the street, and he knows where the stops are, and he comes right through my stop sign. I laid on the horn, and I look at him, and he's grinning. I didn't know it was him. I just saw the big grin in the car go by. One of the kids yells, Pacific, you want me to get that plate? I said, yes. They read it off to me. I wrote it down. One girl says, Pacific, do you know who that was? I said, I was looking at the face and the car because I'm trying to see the car and the kids, and I laid on the horn, but no, that was blah, blah, blah. I turned, I hadn't even pulled away. I said, please tell me you're lying. No. I said, oh my gosh. I got on the two-way radio. Hey, dispatch, I just had a car run my stop sign. It's a student who rides my bus. He almost hit two high schoolers getting off. He's ridden his bus every day, knows it's a stop. I honked. He grinned, went through. The students on the bus witnessed it. This is his address. The cops were over there before I got back to the yard. I get into the yard. I park the bus. I go in, and my dispatcher calls me and says, Pacific, you got a phone call. Phone call? Mike, this is Judy. You know us. Oh, shit. Mom's calling me. I know you, and what does that have to do with this? Well, my son. I said, no, Judy. Personal feelings aside, he almost hit two students. He rides that bus. He knows that stop is there. He went through it and grinned as he did it. The kids all saw it. But Mike, he didn't mean to. I said, no. I saw the face. No. The family hated me because I turned them in. I had to go to my pastor and say, hey, this happened. My pastor immediately said, you did the right thing. I'll have a talk with the family. That's not okay. I've been told by people through the years, you're harsh or you're not understanding. I have more understanding than most people realize. But when you get in a car and you get in a vehicle, motorcycle, anything with a motor on it, and a bicycle, if you can't follow the rules and use safety, you have no business on anything. And my driving changed when I started driving a school bus. And I know a lot of Americans don't give a crap about a school bus. I get that. They don't want to be behind it. They don't want anything to do with it. But when I started driving a bus, I realized, man, everybody's a bad driver out here. And it really is. I'd say 80% of the people in the U.S. driving are terrible. They don't follow the rules. They think they're good drivers. I had a boss at a truck center years ago that I worked at in Denver, Colorado. He said his brother was a police officer for the Phoenix Police Department, and he said my brother was telling me that he does sometimes he has the traffic class where people get tickets and they can reduce the points if they come to the class on safe driving, and they got to watch videos of all the accidents and stuff. And he told my boss, the brother told my boss, he'd start the class off, all the people are seated there. How many of you think you're a good driver? He said, everybody's hand went up. He said, I'd be writing on the chalkboard, and then I'd turn back around and say, so how come you're all sitting in my class? You're not a good driver if you're in here. That's why you're in here. Today, we're going to hope to change that. I can't change you, but I want you to see some of these videos and realize that when you choose to drive like this is what can happen. California had a thing called red pavement or something like that. My aunt dropped off my cousin and her husband down at San Pedro to catch the ferry to Catalina Island for the Boy Scout troop. I was on the overhead. She had an old Dodge pickup, 72 Dodge with a sliding camper, and I was on the overhead bed over the cab. So I like to sit up there, and we dropped them off. We're heading back to her house in Temple City. I felt the camper swerve. She was talking to her lady friend down. They had a boot, where you could slide into the front seat of the truck. And I heard them talking. The truck swerved suddenly, and I heard, woo! I'm like, uh-oh. She goes, oh, my gosh. She pulls over, and I heard this. Hi, ma'am. You know why I'm pulling you over? Well, I know I did a sudden lane change because I didn't want to miss the exit. He goes, yeah. He said, if I hadn't stopped, I would have been plastered at the back of your camper. And he gave her a ticket. And I was there that summer, and she had to take that class. She came home that evening, afternoon. Michael, you doing okay? I said, I'm good. She goes, I don't feel like eating. I'll fix you dinner. I said, are you all right? Oh, that changed the way I drive. She said they showed people after an accident, heads laying on the pavement, body parts everywhere. Oh my gosh, we really take it for granted when we get behind the wheel. The dads, moms, you better teach your teens the importance of following the damn speed limit and not being hot-headed and stupid and show up behind the wheel. That is not the place for it. Driving on the streets is not a competition sport. You're not a fucking racer. You're not fucking cool. So give it up. Stick to your fucking day job. Be a teenager and live and enjoy life, but don't do that shit. And I don't care if you're offended. What if I had a daughter? What if that was my son you mowed down? You tell me, teenage punkosauruses, what I should do. I'd be justified in grabbing an AR-15, AR-15 and just going, every one of you out there. Justified. Of course, I'd be arrested in this beautiful, dumb, backwards justice system that we have. But yet you can go out there and do that. And nobody cares about the person who lost their life or got comatose for it. And that's bullshit. You don't need that kind of power. You have not earned the right to have that kind of power. And with all due respect, I want to know why the automakers in the U.S. and our government's so all about freaking control. Why are they not limiting how fast these damn things can go? We don't need a car going 110, 117, 130 miles an hour. We don't need that. And the last thing you should do is give it to some young punk. I know I've said a lot. I know the teen, oh, fuck you. Yeah, fuck you. You don't care about people. I'm not going to care about you when you do that. And if somebody rose up and sprayed you with a pepper spray of bullets and took y'all out, I'd get in my truck, go home, and go, good. Don't have to play with court, and these guys won't be fucking around with people's lives no more. You know, I don't have compassion for assholes. I don't have compassion for people doing that. I don't need to. Because I'm a grown man, and if I make a mistake, me especially being white and a conservative, yeah, society's not going to be real kind to me about it. Thanks for listening. Drive safe. You want to race? Take it off the streets. Go get on the track, pay your dues, and learn how to race. And go take it to NASCAR. Stay off the damn public streets. You got old ladies. You got all kinds of people out there. They don't know you're coming. They're not ready for that. The streets weren't made for that. Pull your head out of your ass and think about others beyond your own damn nose.